attention to what is said. Why people tear the seam of anyone's dream is over my head. Do nothing till you hear from me. At least consider our romance. If you should take the words of others you've heard, I have the chance. But you have been seen with someone new. That doesn't mean that I've been untrue. Though we were apart, these words in my heart reveal how I feel about you. Some kiss make cloud my memory, and other arms may hold a thrill. But please do nothing till you hear it from me, and you never will.
Yeah. Thank you. We will continue with our awards program for the evening. If we could bring the noise down just a bit, we're going to continue on with our program now. If we could bring the noise down, continue to enjoy your dinner and dessert, but if we could bring the conversation down, I know that we're still serving some your dinner, and please continue to enjoy the dinner and dessert, but we will move forward with the program. Thank you very much for your cooperation there. As you know, much of the Society's work is conducted by volunteers, and this is particularly true of the awards process. I would like to thank all of the volunteers that have participated in reviewing the awards nominations process. Please applaud those that participated as reviewers in the awards process. Thank you very much. Now we'll continue with the rest of the AMS awards. As we present the awards, you may follow along in your awards brochure, starting in the middle or view the contents on the above screens. This year, in an effort to be green and environmentally responsible, AMS has reduced the number of awards brochures at each table. The brochure is currently available online, and you are welcome to take home a copy or place in the recycle boxes on your way out. We will also have some additional copies at our headquarters office in Boston. So moving forward, we ask each award winner to please come on the stage to accept your award. The special award is presented to Catherine Smith for producing and sustaining an extremely user-friendly web-based interface making weather and climate data widely accessible to users at all levels. Catherine. Congratulations. Congratulations. The special award is presented to COCORA's Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network for individual and exemplary support and organization of numerous atmospheric and oceanic field expeditions over more than 3 decades. Nolan Duskin, National Director, is accepting on behalf of COCORA's. How many COCORA's observers do we have out? Remember the pictures. Congratulations. The award for outstanding services to meteorology by a corporation is presented to Earth Networks for developing innovative lightning detection data products that improve severe storm monitoring and warnings. Robert Marshall will be accepting. Congratulations. The Helmut E. Landsberg Award goes to Manabu Kanda for leadership and original contributions to the study of the urban lowest atmosphere, including the novel fieldwork of Project Cosmo and his large eddy simulation. The award for excellence in science reporting by a broadcaster goes to Harrison Hove, CBM, for outstanding reporting, videography, and writing of a documentary about the National Science Foundation's scientific research in Antarctica. The award for broadcast meteorology is presented to Merrill Taylor for serving Wichita and the state of Kansas for over 30 years, providing life-saving coverage during historic weather events like the Andover and Greensburg tornadoes. To meet you. The outstanding award for outstanding achievement in biometeorology goes to Ray Luning for significantly advancing our understanding of plant functioning from stomata to terrestrial biosphere and outstanding contributions to the global flux network through advancing micrometeorology theory. Dr. Luning Award will be presented at the Joint Conference on the Atmospheric Biogeosciences and the Agricultural and Forest Meteorology Conference in May in Portland, Oregon. The Henry T. Harrison Award for outstanding contributions by a consulting meteorologist is presented to Gail F. Hofnagel, CCM, for sound leadership and contributions in furthering science and ethics in consulting meteorology for environmental and forensic applications. Sorry, we got it. The Nicholas P. Fofanoff Award is presented to Jennifer McKinnon for outstanding contributions to the understanding of internal mixing in the ocean, artfully synthesizing observations, theory, and numerical modeling. Henry G. Houghton Award goes to Robin Hogan for broad-reaching, imaginative contributions to understanding the interaction of clouds and radiation through innovations in radiative transfer and remote sensing. The Clarence Leroy Meisinger Award is presented to Courtney Schumacher for innovative use of observations to clarify the vertical structure of latent heating and the geographical distribution of convective and stratiform precipitation. Good to see you.
See you too. Thank you.
The Joanne Simpson Mentorship Award is presented to William H. Hook for gracious, dedicated mentoring of scores of individuals over more than 4 decades and inspiring a community of science policy leaders that promotes peer mentorship.
Joanne Simpson was an exceptional scientist and a remarkable human being. In every conversation, every action, and every collaboration, she didn't simply impart information, she transformed the lives of those people around her. In the same way, the American Meteorological Society doesn't just advance science and technology, we help harness that innovation for societal benefit. And what's more, we don't just save lives and property, we don't simply promote economic growth, we don't just protect the environment, we make people's lives more meaningful and satisfying in the process. Joanne would be the first to tell us that mentorship is not a one-way transaction. You and I cannot help another human being without ourselves being blessed in like measure. Mentoring is a true and equal exchange of gifts. It energizes and inspires both parties in the transaction and spurs everyone to pay it forward. I will always be grateful to the AMS for tonight's special kindness, but I am particularly thankful for the times and the ways that you and I have worked together over many years. I am indebted to everyone in this room, but to no one more than my wife, Chris. Every day for the past 38 years, she has made my life better. Thank you, Chris, and thank you all.
The Kenneth C. Spangler Award is presented to Tanya Franzen for visionary leadership and innovative thinking to ensure weather forecasts result in timely and appropriate public responses by including all partners in the weather enterprise. Congratulations. Tanya, you also get this award. The Charles E. Anderson Award is presented to Franco Einaudi for consistent career-long personal efforts to increase diversity and for leading institutional changes that will continue to create opportunities for women and underrepresented minorities. The Cleveland Abbey Award for Distinguished Service to the Atmospheric Sciences by an individual is presented to Donald J. Wubbles.
Is there anything?
I know this is kind of a cliche, but this is kind of the Academy Awards for our for our profession, and what I really appreciate about it, and I'm sure all of us do, is it's our peers recognizing us in ways that is surprising. And so I really want to thank my colleagues throughout this room, throughout AMS, and especially at the University of Illinois for getting me up here. I also want to mention just a little bit about Cleveland Abbey. What an amazing career. I suggest you all try to find some time to read about him. I knew very little about him before I was named this award. And he really was an amazing individual who not only contributed heavily to the frontiers of atmospheric science and the forecasting of weather, but also put a great focus on the application of that science to the human condition and how he could help his fellow man. In much the same way, a day doesn't go by when I don't think about how is it I can help humanity and make this a better world. And to be honored with the Cleveland Abbey Award is really special to me. Thank you all.
The Francis W. Weicheldorfer Award is presented to John Paul Martin for outstanding leadership of exemplary National Weather Service decision support services for the state of North Dakota and local communities as warning coordination meteorologist at the Bismarck Weather Forecast Office.
Well, thank you so much. And by my calculation, only 2 recipients spoke. So I was told I had less than 2 minutes, but I think I've probably got about 15 or 20 based on other folks not speaking. First thing I want to do is say good evening and wish you a happy Weather Person's Day. I only know it's Weather Person's Day because my mom called me this morning to wish me a happy Weather Person's Day, and I was unaware. I want to thank the American Meteorological Society. It's amazing that I would be even considered for this award, yet alone to receive it. And when Dr. Marshall Shepard called me on the phone to say I received it, I was familiar with the name, but I actually had to ask him if he was serious, if this was a joke, what was happening. So we had a little fun with that. But I am indebted for the rest of my life to the American Meteorological Society. I would be remiss if I did not mention NOAA and the National Weather Service. NOAA's National Weather Service has given me 24 years to do something that I love, and I only hope that they'll allow me to do it for another 12 or 13 until retirement. Francis Reichendelfer, if you don't know much about him, you need to look it up. You need to find out about this man. He was amazing. He was a fellow of the American Meteorological Society. He was a founding member of the society. He was a fellow, he was an honorary member, and he was president from 1941 to 1942. He also served as the chief of the Weather Bureau for 25 years, from 1938 to 1963. So, Dr. Uccellini, you have 24 more years of service to meet that. He was an amazing man. He was the first president of the World Meteorological Organization and helped found that organization. I want to also thank my colleagues, my boss, my meteorologist in charge, Jeff Savadell, and my Science and Operations Officer, Dr. Joshua Scheck, who nominated me for this award, and it was unknown to me. My family, my wife, my children, Austin and Noel, and my mom. My mom instilled in me at a very young age the need to be a servant leader, even though she did not know what the term meant. She always taught me to do what I could to serve other people, and I appreciate her so much. And finally, I need to thank God, because God has given me an opportunity to serve His people. I thank you very much.
The Edward N. Lorenz Teaching Excellence Award is presented to Daniel Kaiser for his meticulously crafted and inspiring lectures, his individualized mentoring and unwavering commitment to students, and his landmark contributions to synoptic and mesoscale meteorology education. This is the first year the award has been presented with the new title honoring Dr. Lorenz.
Thank you, Marshall. I never expected to receive an award for teaching, let alone an award named after Ed Lorenz. And I offer my heartfelt thanks to my former and current students who nominated me for the Lorenz Award, and to the selection committee for conferring the award. It's an honor and a privilege to join the list of prior Lorenz Award winners, many of whom I have known, admired, and been inspired by from the start of my professional career. I will now share with you some words of wisdom about teaching that I have collected during my academic career. Teaching allows you to leave students better off than you found them. Teaching allows you to learn more from your students than they learn from you. Teaching allows you to amplify your impact. Teaching requires you to listen more and talk less, for me, an acquired skill. It takes a faculty, not just an individual faculty member, to educate a student. And in closing, it has been said, to save a life is to save the world. These words of wisdom may be adapted for the teaching profession to say that to educate a student is to change the world. Thank you.
The Remote Sensing Prize is presented to Pawan Kumar Bhatia, better known to some of us as PK Bhatia, for scientific advances in the remote sensing of global ozone concentration and trends, and for developing new techniques for retrieving aerosol properties from space.
Well, thank you, AMS, for this award. You hear this word a lot these days, but it does take a village to produce a satellite data set. I'm just one of the elders in that village. I just want to mention a couple of people who started all of this program for ozone measurement at NASA, Donald Heath, Arlene Kruger, and my mentor, the Canadian scientist, Carl Metier. And I'm really grateful for the work they started in the ozone measurement field that has really grown so much now. And finally, I want to thank my wife of 47 years who has put up with me for so many years. Thank you very much.
The Henry Stommel Research Award is presented to James N. Malm for fundamental research on quantifying and modeling vertical mixing in the ocean.
So I have three things to say. First of all, I'm still amazed that I can have so much fun and be paid for it. And students take note of that. This is a fun career, and to be honored for it to boot. Second of all, I have completely lucked out in terms of colleagues, students, and postdocs that I've worked with, and they've dragged me along with them. And thirdly, I spent 4 years of my life at sea as a seagoing oceanographer. I have traveled the world, sometimes on a whim, and I'm grateful that my wife, Deb, has held down the fort while I've been gone, and she's here with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for continuing to keep the noise down as we honor our recipients. The Frederick Gold Medal Award is presented to John Marshall for his fundamental insights into water mass transformation and deep convection and their implications for global climate and its variability. The Werner E. Sumi Award is presented to Sidney Levitas for pioneering work in climate science by analyzing and computing the ocean's heat content and making oceanographic data readily available to the scientific community.
I'd like to thank the AMS for the Werner E. Sumi Award being presented to me. It means a great deal to me personally. I'd like to thank my wife Diane, our two sons David and Stephen for their support over the years. I've retired from NOAA after 39 years of service recently and began teaching at the University of Maryland. You'll get an A for that, you know. And it reminds me of the fantastic faculty and teaching that was afforded me at New York University, where I studied. And after New York University, I worked at the NOAA Geophysical Fluid Dynamics Laboratory and learned a great deal about doing science there, and then moved to the National Oceanographic Data Center to finish out my career. And I can honestly say I've done what I wanted to do, and this award really just caps off a great career I've had and a great number of people I've met who have really made my career very successful. So thank you very much.
The Jewel G. Charney Award is presented to David A. Randall for transformative research into atmospheric convection and cloud processes and their improved representation in global weather and climate models.
I was fortunate to get to know Jewel Charney a little bit in the last 10 years of his life. You all know he was a great scientist, but he was also an interesting and charismatic personality and really an historical figure. I want to thank my students, my ex-students, and my colleagues for helping me to do the work that I'm being recognized for here. I also want to thank my PhD advisor, who's here tonight. Akio Arakawa and his wife made the trip from Los Angeles for this ceremony, and I really appreciate it very much. He's still an inspiration to me after 42 years. And I want to thank my wife, who is also an inspiration to me after 42 years. She managed to stay married to me for 42 years, quite an accomplishment. And I'd like to finally thank the people who nominated me. I know that putting an award nomination together is a fair amount of work, so thank you.
The Carl Gustav Rossby Research Medal is presented to Owen Brian Toon for significant contributions to the synthesis of knowledge of radiative and dynamical processes leading to a deeper understanding of the climate system.
Thank you so much for the Rossby Research Medal. I'm surprised and very pleased to be in the company of such central figures in our field as Rossby and the previous winners of this award. Of course, learning that I had won this award made me think about the winding course of my career, but it also caused me to think about all the future winners of this award. I think there's probably about 50 of you in the audience that will one day receive this award. So my first thought about my career was, why am I doing this? It's not a path to fame and fortune, but I've been driven since childhood to understand everything around me and to puzzle out the mysteries of the day, like what causes the climate to change, how do the Earth and the planets compare, how do we get here and where we're going? And I've had a great deal of fun with my colleagues and students and postdocs thinking about such things. So collaborating with others is one of the most rewarding aspects of our careers. And every time I come to a meeting such as this, I try to find a new collaborator who I can find to do fun things with in the future. My second thought was a conversation I had with Steve Schneider about 30 years ago. Steve suggested that you aren't doing anything important unless everybody is complaining about you. And ever since, I've been very happy about all the many people complaining about me. So I recommend this attitude to you the next time you get a paper reviewed or read the latest attacks on our science. We should always be skeptical of our work and should not overestimate what we know or we can predict. But nevertheless, what we do is important. What you do is important. Lives may depend on it, and the future course of our civilization may depend on it. So we have to keep working hard and doing our best despite criticisms that may come our way. My final thought was that no matter how bad things seem to be at the moment, they're getting better over the long run. During the past few years, we've had budget cuts and sequesters. We've lost some colleagues and students because of them. But nevertheless, we're in a golden age of our field. Constellations of satellites are giving us a magnificent view of the Earth. New instruments continue to bring up unexpected insights into the atmospheres, oceans, and ice. And amazing computer capabilities allow us to do calculations that our predecessors never dreamed could be done. So the present is always a struggle, but looking back shows the present is always better than the past, so you should anticipate a bright future. The good guys do win. Nice people don't finish last. The world is becoming a better place, and there's still lots of exciting research to be done. Thank you.
We close with the highest honor bestowed upon an AMS member. Election to the category of honorary member is restricted by our Constitution to persons of acknowledged preeminence in the atmospheric or related oceanic or hydrologic sciences or their application, or through furtherance of the advance of those sciences in some other way. Our procedures insist that the addition of a new name to the roster of honorary member should be as much of an honor for the society as it is for the individual. Before we announce our new honorary members, I would like to recognize a member that was bestowed this honor in 2012 but was unable to join us in New Orleans. Given the prestige of this award, we have invited J. Michael Wallace, who is in attendance this evening, to say a few words.
The hour is late. I just want to say thank you. It's been one of the great pleasures of my life to be a part of the AMS all these years. Thank you.
This year we have 3 new honorary members. Our first new honorary member is Robert Earl Dickinson.
Very brief. I'd just like to thank the hundreds of people who have worked with me over my long career, helped me in various ways, and also AMS, its contribution to my career through its journals and its meetings, and the recognition such as giving me here tonight. So thank you, AMS, and everybody who's helped me. Thank you.
Our next honorary member, Brian Hoskins.
Well, I'd like to say thank you very much for this honor for someone over the waters in the UK. And I'd just like to recognize the impact that the United States and the American Meteorological Society have had on my career over the years. When I started, and I was just calculating just now, my PhD some 46 years ago, then the giants, I remember there was Charney, Lorentz, Phillips, Smagorinsky, Dick Reed, you name it, Phil Thompson, and they were all over here. And it was just then superb when I could follow and come over here. And I spent a number of formative years over here in Johns Hopkins, in NCAR, and in GFDL, and a number of summers in Seattle. And those were important to me. And the American Meteorological Society and the professional interactions I had with the United States have always been extremely important to me. And finally, the friendships I've made with US scientists have been extremely important to me and my wife. So thank you very much for this honor. Thank you.
And our final honorary member for this evening, Kinjun Zhang.
Thank you. presidents, and all here in the banquet. It's really a very great honor for me to be the honorary member of American Meteorological Society. I think this also reflected that fact that there's friendship and cooperation between two meteorological societies, such as the American Meteorological Society, the great society in the world, and Chinese Meteorological Society, a large meteorological society in the world. Their friendship and their cooperation are very good. And I think the cooperation of all meteorologists in the world are very, very important to solve the meteorological issue for improvement of the human life. And I believe this cooperation will be very close. And at the end, I would like also sincerely thank my parents who teach me how to behave myself as a man. And also sincerely thank my science supervisors, the Professor Ye Ping Xie, a Chinese, but an important member of Chicago School. The Professor Kibler, a Russian, he is also one of the founder of numerical vector prediction, and also Professor Smirnitsky, one of the founder of the climate simulations. When I was FDL, and he made guidance for me. That's all. Thank you.
Well, this is it for me. It has been an honor to serve as your president this past year. I would like to thank my beautiful wife for all of the support that she's given me, running around chasing 6 and 10-year-old kids. I'd like to thank all of my professors at Florida State University. Go Noles, national champions. And I would like to thank all of my colleagues and students and friends at the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. It has been a pleasure to work with the AMS staff. They're the best staff in the world. That's not an exaggeration. Anyone out there that has worked with them knows that. And with that, I'm going to move out of the way. And I would like to ask our new president, Dr. Bill Gale, to come up and say a few words.
Well, first off, I have no awards to give, but I do have the privilege of thanking our outgoing president, Dr. Marshall Shepard. He's been an inspiration and a friend to me. He's done tremendous things for the society over the last year, and I think you'd all agree that he put together a really phenomenal meeting this year. So we have a small gift for Marshall, and lots of luck for his future. Marshall's going to be a very tough guy to follow, no question about that. I'm very honored to be elected as president of this society. This is a phenomenal society, and this is a very, very exciting time to be in this field. The groundwork for this was laid over the past 50 years in really two fundamental phases. The first of these was the development of advanced observational systems, satellites, radars, advanced ground systems. The second was the development of modeling systems and the computing infrastructure that went along with that. The first happening starting really in the 60s and the second starting in the 80s. I think we're now entering a third phase that is equally important and really brings together three important elements that finally allow us to do some very fundamentally interesting things as a community. And this third phase involves communications and mobile devices and web services and ways to get the information that we produce out to the people who need to use it in the way that they need to use it to make their lives better and safer. This is every bit as profound as the first two phases, and what it allows us to do is really for the first time deliver individualized, customized weather information to people when they need it, where they need it, and for what they need to use it for. This is not an easy thing. It's going to require really profound and deep efforts on the parts of the entire enterprise, end to end, from the basic science to the delivery mechanisms. But in the end, it will really change how we're able to deliver information, weather information, to the people that we care about. Now, the other thing that's interesting about this is that it really is a gateway, I think, for the younger generation, for the students, early career professionals. This is what they will be inheriting from us, the ability to customize, to personalize information and give it to people just when they need it. And it will have, I believe, a profound impact on all of society. Now, my 2015 theme reflects both this vision and the gateway for the younger generation. Two of my co-chairs are early career professionals, and I selected them on purpose to be representative of this vision. The title of the conference next year is Fulfilling the Vision of Weather, Water, and Climate Information for Every Need, Time, and Place. And I know that's a mouthful, but I think there's a lot of very important advances contained within that title. So I look forward to seeing you all next year in Phoenix. It's going to be a great meeting, and thank you for such a wonderful conference. We'll see you next year.